Happy 420. Alright, well, I'm recording this update when the other update isn't fully uploaded yet. I have changed from doing just a straight me talking at the camera to actually doing different clips here and there and then editing those together, and that has increased the file size a little bit. And I have spent 2 full days over at the internet cafe uploading my video, and it is at 95%. So when I go over there today and I'll start doing some editing on this video, that video should finish uploading. So these have kind of going to have some delay on them. I apologize about that, but that's part of living out in the desert and sharing resources with the rest of the community, and not having my own internet service. So that's just how it goes. I could probably go into Starbucks, but just not having the extra money to spend on coffee. So maybe I should add Starbucks gift card to my Amazon wish list, and if people would like to see these actually upload on a timely basis, they could buy me coffee and I'd go do it. Alright, so what has new been going on? So I actually feel like I've left a lot of different stuff out in other videos, like for instance my leg. I talked about how I had tore it up on some rebar, and then Mill and I picked at the scab next day. Flies got on it and bam, infected. So I did not end up having to go to the doctors or anything like that. I was given a couple of antibiotics from a friend of mine, and really that's all I needed to do was give the infection a good knockdown to begin with, and then my body took care of the rest of it, along with I used a turmeric paste to put over the area, and then that dries up like a scab, and what that does is that actually pulls the infection away and dries it out. So, and yeah, then acts like a scab. That was pretty cool. And yeah, my leg is still not 100% healed yet. There's a little tiny scab on it, but it's going to have a kind of gnarly scar. Looks a little bit like a guitar. So, yeah, my leg is doing fine. Thanks for people who asked and I haven't replied to yet. Now you know. Cornelius at the library was gifted a dozen baby chickens, and we were raising them. And the night that we did acid at the range, we came back and we're hanging out at the fire, and all of a sudden heard a big commotion, and one of the local dogs had got up underneath the cage and scared all the chickens off, and so we are now down to 1 baby chicken. And so yeah, that kind of blew. Yeah, because we didn't have the permanent coop set up yet. It was just a temporary thing to hold them while we got the other thing finished. Because yeah, it was like he just showed up. Here you go. I was like, oh, all right, we got to do this. And yeah, it was almost finished. In that video that's still not uploaded yet, you will find out that the library was gifted some ayahuasca, and the plan was to do it on my birthday. Unfortunately, we did not do it on my birthday, mainly because you probably shouldn't eat before doing it. So like, oh no, I wanted to do my birthday food. I was cooking for other people, so we decided to do it another night. And we actually, and it was going to be shared amongst a bigger group of people that night. And I actually did some reading on it, and it seemed to be like, oh, that's like maybe 1 or 2 actual doses that we had. So Cornelius and I shared it on range night and got light effects, but not anything like you're supposed to get with ayahuasca. So guess I'm still not going to check off done ayahuasca tea yet off my list. So that night at the range, there was an interesting act there that first showed up in an old man mask and did some levitation, which was pretty cool. And then he talked about how the next day at Salvation Mountain, there was going to be a music video shot about world peace and wanted extras in it. So I, of course, went and participated in that. I don't know how much of me will actually show up, but I'm actually getting arrested. That was my role in the part. And I was having to wear the shirt that I'm wearing now, which is backwards to you guys, and you can't see it all, but it says, "Shut up, bitch," on it. And I wear that with a skirt or kilt because I'm not wearing underwear underneath. So yeah, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna have the cop arrest the shut up bitch guy." So yeah, it was, I felt, I don't know, stereotypes, but anyways, it was fun. I'm kind of hoping to interview a couple of Canadians who are doing a bicycle trip, and so hoping to get that in.
Hey, I'm with a couple of Canadians. I'll let them introduce themselves, and then I'll ask them the 4 questions I've been asking other people. So tell us about yourself, guys.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Chris.
We're brothers. We rode our bicycles to Slab City, more or less, from Canada. Toronto, to be exact.
Yeah, but of course, after going through Mexico and then coming up the coast and then coming back here and then
now
killing
we're back.
some time.
Yeah. What started off as a weekend has now become, I think, a month.
Yeah, about there. Almost 5 weeks now.
You guys got a website or anything like that? YouTube channel?
Yeah. Because we're Canadians, we call ourselves a couple of hosers.
Yeah.
Couple of hosers.
Yeah.
So our fancy domain name is Coupla, Coupla, hosers. HOSERS.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very creative. I like that. And I'm assuming they can find you on YouTube that way as well?
Yeah.
Or
Couple
not
Hosers
YouTube
is our
and
channel.
Facebook. And, I think Instagram, yes. I do the Instagram once in a while.
Right on. Cool. All right, so now time for the four questions.
Yeah.
What brought you to Slab City?
Well, I heard about it on a documentary
Same.
on Netflix. I forget what it was called. Do you remember?
No, don't remember the name of it, but I know that
Yeah,
this was part of
it's some documentary about Slab City on Netflix. I think it was a Vice documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only way I heard of it. We're like, wait, we're right nearby. We're crossing through
we were
on the
in
111.
Yuma, and we needed to get to the coast. So we kind of looked at the map, and then I started looking up free spots, and I noticed, shit, Slab City's here? Oh my God, like I'm within biking distance of Slab City. So then we just had to come here.
And it kind of sucked us in, and now we're still here.
Right on. So apparently you like stuff here. So what is your favorite thing about Slab City?
Do you know yet? I could say mine.
Oh, man.
My favorite thing about Slab City is pissing at the range. And I'll tell you why. Because you go to the range and you start to drink a little, or you start to have a little bit of fun.
Or drink a lot. Let's be honest.
Okay, it's a range. And you're focusing on the band, suddenly you gotta pee. So you get up and you walk out back, and you're pissing in the dark, and it's when you turn around and you realize where you are. That everything is completely pitch black, and it's just covered in stars, and then here's this big glowing beacon of music and drunken fun, and it's just so crazy. Every time, it blows my mind. Every time I turn around and I see it, it brings it back, and I realize like I'm in the middle of the desert, and this is happening in front of me. Like it's
Right
so
on.
pissing at the range is my favorite thing about Slab City.
My favorite thing is the freedom here, like the freedom to just go out and piss in the parking lot at the range and to build whatever the hell you want and start whatever movements, and you know, I like the whole community aspect. That's my favorite thing about it. Everybody's all together and getting shit done.
That's my second favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right, so what has surprised you most about Slab City?
How much people share, the whole sharing thing. Like when I watched the documentary,
Yeah.
it wasn't like everybody shares and they all want to be friendly and happy together. It's more like it's free, you can bring your shit here, just don't bother anybody else. You know, like I thought it was more every man for himself kind of thing.
Yeah, I
And
kind
although
of thought it
sometimes
was just a free spot to camp. That's
Yeah.
all we thought of it as. Is like,
Yeah.
okay, it's just going to be where people are
then-
camping, and we'll just camp
Yeah.
somewhere, and that'll be it. And then we'll be in our tents, just hanging out with each
Yeah.
other. And
But the one thing leads to another, you start meeting the people and you realize it's just more or less a community. You know, you don't think it is. Everybody's out here for their own reasons, but we're still all here together, so that's pretty rad. So that was surprising.
And you call for people to come help you, and 6, 7, 8 people will raise their hands and
Yeah,
come and help
jump
you,
up,
no
come help you
problem. It's definitely a community.
Yeah, it's cool.
Hmm.
So that was surprising.
All right, and lastly, if there was one thing about Slab Cities you could change, what would it be?
The roads. The road coming
being
in
cyclists, Being cyclists,
Yeah.
I think the roads would be good.
here. We don't
Not
have
very,
no
not
we
big,
very
have to-
bike friendly.
No, it tears apart your bike.
we don't have no
Because
big 4-wheel drive Jeeps or anything like
No.
all these other people have. And
When you have a 100-pound bicycle and you're ripping down that road,
I
After-
broke 3 spokes
after doing
already
however many
on
miles
these
in a
roads.
day.
3
Yeah.
spokes, and I've gone through 1 tire, brand new tire. It's within a month, it's gone. It is
so we need to talk to the
disintegrating.
Slab City Roads Department.
Yeah.
Get that worked out.
I'm gonna sue the city.
And yeah, I think I like to be as honest as possible with my fans, so I think I need to point this out. These two have biked across America, kind of kitty corner. This guy has pedaled. This guy has used a motor.
I'm a cheater.
But he is dragging all his heavy shit, so
Some of
it's-
it. My bike's 100 pounds.
It's like
Okay.
it's both of our heavy shit.
yeah.
all right.
He carries the food and water, which is heavy shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so
But I'm
if
really
it's
strong.
something you want to do, there is a way to figure it out. Cool. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate
Thank you.
sitting down for the interview. I have loved having you guys here, and I hope you guys return.
We love hanging out with you, man.
All right,
We hope we return too.
right on.
In the other video, I was like, said, oh yeah, I'm going to tell you the things about the wish list on my wish list that I want, and I was kind of horrible about doing that. So I'll get to the things that are currently on my wish list that I really could use. I think the first and foremost thing on there that I would really like soon is the shade cloth. There are 5 pieces. One of them 16 by 10, and that will be the ceiling to block out the shade, and then the other 4 panels, which I forgot their dimensions, are for the 4 walls, so that the whole area will be shaded and screened off. And then I'm going to build a little 5-gallon bucket swamp cooler and maybe run a couple of them in there to keep the temperature down from when it's 120 degrees. That's not here yet, got some time, and actually the weather's been pretty decent considering that, you know, it's in the 90s or hundreds even in the shade. We got a thermometer in the library that's kind of up high, so I imagine, you know, hotter air is up there. But yeah, it's often in the hundreds in there, and like I didn't have to have a fan blowing on me or anything like that. So I think I will do fine out here during the summer, provided I can get the shade and the other things that I'm talking about. The second thing on there that I can think about is there's 100-gallon water trough. And my plan on that is to dig a hole and put that in the ground, and then put water in there. And like one of the ways to cool down is to actually submerge yourself in water, including clothing and stuff like that. And the evaporation has a cooling effect. So I want to set that up so I have somewhere where I can easily get into water, and if I need to soak in there for a while, I can soak in there for a while. If I just want to do it quick, I'm going to probably do it with some sort of shower apparatus that I've yet to build. Next thing on there that I really could use is that computer. And I know it's a lot to ask. I am setting up a nonprofit. And I hope to have that done by the end of the year. So I do believe if you get me that, it'll be tax deductible. And I'm even willing to lie or bend the truth. Like, oh yeah, it was. If I don't get if it takes the IRS a while to get back to me on my application, because it can, then I will. If I get it next year, I'll give you the deduction for that year. Like, I know it's a lot to ask, but the reason why it's a high-end gaming computer is because I want to run software like AutoCAD Map 3D, and the 3D rendering on it, to do it at a decent speed, you really need a high-end computer like that. Same thing goes with Google SketchUp. Like, I want to do work with that, and that's all to be laying out infrastructure, designing buildings, and things for the intentional community that I plan on building. And like, it actually maybe end up being a couple intentional communities, because I don't think this is going to be my, like, yeah, I want to do a year here, but I don't think this is really where I'm going to end up. I'm hoping to end up in Northern California, and actually there's a group of people from the Slabs that are currently in Northern California on a land trust, community land trust, for doing permaculture, and they're really trying hard to get me to go up there. But I don't think it's the right situation that I want. They'll probably be taking off, in 6 months sort of thing. And I guess, like, I do want to build some sort of intentional transient community way stop here in Slab Cities. And I want to set it up so that it can basically, once it's up and running, can run itself. And then I want to do a community of group of individuals that I would live with full time, or pretty near full time sort of thing with. Oh, there's the electric bike on there. I've been told that the best way to travel around here is during the heat of the winter, because apparently it can be 120 air temperature, but the ground will be like 130 degrees. So they say best way to travel is by bike. I do want an electric bike so that I can get, I'm an old man. I'm not in super good shape at this moment, so I kind of need some help. Especially if I'm going to be going, fairly long distances, and Brawley is 18 miles away. So I am looking for something that would help me get that far, and it seemed to be that the quality bikes are in that range, and that was one of the cheaper ones in the range that are supposed to be of quality and would last. I definitely believe in buying things, right the first time, because, they may be more expensive, but you will eventually end up spending the same amount of money on cheaper crap because it falls apart. Power would be really nice. So there's a complete solar system. The charger thing pack that I showed you isn't very good. It does not charge it doesn't charge my batteries all the way, so only get a little bit of use out of it, and that's even like leaving it out in the sun for days without any sort of draw on it. It just doesn't go past a certain point. So I could use a better electrical system. So that's on there. Let's see, what else? I can't think of anything. I know I will be adding stuff, like seeing how the Ayahuasca tea didn't work out. I was going to look to see if they can be purchased on Amazon, and if so, I might add those to my wish list. So if anybody wants to make that experience happen for me, that'd be greatly appreciated. As well as the Starbucks gift card, like I'm going to see if that's available and put that on there. And I'm sure I'll think of something. And any sort of support or gifts or anything like that are greatly appreciated. I am not relying on these, so like these are just wish list things that I would like some help with, and people are looking for ways to support me, so just giving you options. Anyways, that's another video. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace, love, and all that happy jazz.